Here with Rockies first rounder and top pitching prospect Chase Dollander, who's taking a little bit of a break from the autographs. How's it been going so far with the autos?
It's been going great, man. I just got off the eBay Live, and they told me that all of my cars sold for over 100. So
that's good.
That's pretty good, I guess. I don't know.
No, it is. I can tell you that not everybody's did that for sure.
It's pretty awesome to see that and kind of have that fan interaction. It's been really cool. Yeah.
You had some personal inscriptions that fans that were buying the cards would be able to ask for.
Yeah.
What were they?
One of them that I thought was pretty funny, and there's a kind of a backstory to this, and I guess I'll go to the story first. It's when I was in college, I got told that I had a full salad bar in the back of my head, and so one of the people was like, let the lettuce hit the floor. And so I was like, I like that, so I did it. And that was a really funny one. eBay Live 1 of 1 was one of them. I put my nickname Dolly on that. That was pretty cool. So just to see all those transpire was pretty cool.
Were you much of a collector yourself? Is that something that you were into maybe as a kid, or have you gotten back into it at all now being on the professional side?
As a kid, I found a box of cards and I didn't know what it was, and so I opened it up, and I saw a lot of Braves cards because I'm from Georgia, so my family I don't think they did like heavy collecting back then, but it was just kind of what they accumulated. Yeah. And so I got into it a little bit, but now that my own cards are in these packs, it's really, really cool. So I'm starting to get back into it.
Yeah, and I feel like the common answer I've been getting from guys is, oh yeah, my dad is like actively pursuing all of my cards. I don't know if your dad's chasing after your cards.
It's my mom and my stepdad that I think are both trying to get the cards. So
yeah, I love it. That's a lot of fun. And get on the baseball side. Yeah. One of the top pitchers in college baseball, obviously a lot of attention on you for a couple years, and a lot of buzz and excitement and things like that. Being able to now be on the pro side, obviously threw a lot of innings, so a lot of college guys end up that shut you down, but it probably made you a little bit more eager to get going now this 100%. Year. How did you kind of manage that, and did that kind of fuel you in the offseason to get your work in and get yourself as ready as possible? Not that you weren't going to anyways, but just like on another level, as you get geared up for 24.
As soon as I got drafted, we got sent to the ACL and the Arizona Complex League, which is rookie ball, and I got to see some of the draftees in my class, start playing, and I was like, well, this sucks. I want to play, and so they get sent out too, and we had one guy, one of my former teammates at Tennessee. He got all the way up to AA. Seth Halverson, it's my dog. I love that guy. So he made it all the way up to AA. We had a few more guys go to Fresno. We had some guys go to Spokane. So I mean, just seeing all those guys go out and me just staying where I'm at, not throwing, not doing anything, just working out, it fueled the fire for sure. And so this offseason I hit it really, really hard, and I'm just excited to see where it takes me.
How were you feeling at the end of the year? Did you feel like you could have probably gone out there and kept throwing? Like, or did you kind of feel like it was the end of a collegiate season after 2 years of being on the spotlight?
Yeah, I was a little fatigued for sure. So it was a much needed, I guess, break, you could say. I'm not usually the one to take much of a break, so I guess having that little bit of a reset for me kind of helped a lot, just kind of feel better and move better.
So, I mean, it was such an absurd year before your draft year where it's like it's almost impossible to be able to match those kinds of things.
Right.
But then following that up with another really solid season, being one of the top picks in the draft, what are some things that you maybe are trying to focus on to, maybe recapture some of that just unbelievable dominance that you had the year before, which you had plenty of stretches of that the following year, but maybe just trying to hone in on that with more consistency?
Yeah, one thing that has helped me a lot is just focusing on the things that I can control. Last year, like you said, there was a lot of pressure, there was a lot of outside expectations, and that's things that I can't control. Yeah. So one thing that I was taught is just control the controllables. I mean, that it's very simple and it sounds easy, but it's not. It's really easy to let outside influence just influence your life and your job and things like that. So, keeping it day to day and just keeping a positive attitude no matter what happens. Like if you're in a bullpen and you're not throwing well, it's a bad day. Oh well, move on. Yeah. You're gonna have plenty of them, promise. So, just kind of focusing on that. And when I'm in game, my primary job of a pitcher is to execute one pitch at a time. And so that's just one thing that I'm honing in on this year, and that what I'm working on in my bullpens is, not let the previous pitch affect the one that I'm throwing now.
It also helps when, a fastball like yours, I feel like you can almost call it like a get out of jail free card because, you can, it's like a hitter's count eraser, right?
Yeah.
Like guys 2-0, they're geared up, and then that fastball still just, they can't get to it.
Yeah.
What do you feel like makes your fastball so difficult? Of course, it's got the ride. You have some characteristics that are really impressive with it.
Yeah.
Is that something that's just always kind of come natural to you?
Yeah.
Or is that something you kind of leaned into more as, you transferred over and started to maybe work with, some different coaching staffs and work with different people?
It was probably one thing this is probably the only thing about delivery that came natural to me. And I had no idea that I was riding the ball until I got to Tennessee. And I was like, oh, I can throw this at the top of the zone and I can strike people out. And that's what I did. So one thing about my fastball, and I feel like I don't need the 20 to 24 inches of vert on my fastball. If I sit 16 to 20 with my release height and my release angle and things like that, and it just kind of all works really well. I have a really low arm slot, really low 3/4, and so just that extra little carry is just going to help a lot.
Did you feel like, something with the low release guys, sometimes it can be hard to maintain that vert, right? Sometimes you can get a little bit of like tailing to the arm side.
Yeah.
What is it about your delivery that allows you to kind of maintain that vert? And is that something that ever maybe can seep away sometimes where you start to get a little bit of the arm side run? Or do you feel like you can kind of consistently keep that vertical?
When I stopped being directional is when I really start to lose my vert and I get a lot more horizontal. It becomes more of a two-seam sinker kind of thing. And the moment I become directional and my feet and my hips are all pointing towards the plate is the moment I get all the vert that I need. And so, as soon as I do that, everything just kind of falls into place.
And again, going back to last year, last time we've seen you pitch, and that's why I'm so excited to see you throw this year. But what are some of the things that you felt really good about and you're excited to build on? And then what are some of the things that maybe, you're excited to be able to take to the next level and be able to capture and get yourself to, be that arm that everybody knows you can be and is expected?
Taking my mentality to the next level, I think, is one thing that's going to help me a lot in the next level. Just being able to, like I said, just focus on one pitch at a time and not let the previous one influence what I'm throwing. But kind of go on the mechanical side, some things that I noticed was last year I was really pulling heavy with my glove side. So just making sure that is just along for the ride and I'm just letting my lower half work. The moment I do that, everything just kind of fixes itself.
So pulling heavy with the glove side, does that kind of get you, just for like layman's terms, maybe for the audience, like, is that something that can kind of get you like unraveled a little bit early or what exactly do you mean?
Yeah. So basically what happens when you pull that glove side, your arm just kind of shoots up. And so what happens is you just lose control, basically. So, like, as soon as your arm shoots up, you lose control of everything. And, if you have a strong glove side, which is kind of my mental cue whenever I'm pitching, strong glove side, my arm just kind of flows right into my slot, right where I want it to be, and I can have control over all my pitches. I mean, last year, you guys saw my slider wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I mean, it was a lot harder, but it was also a cutter. It wasn't a slider. So getting that back has been relatively easy because of the fact that I noticed, hey, like, I'm pulling my glove side. Make that strong, everything else falls into place. Changeup's gotten better, slider's gotten better, curveball's gotten better. So
that was going to be my next question. I mean, I think hitters are going to be very nervous to see the slider being like fully back to where it was. But now you mentioned it being a little bit of a cutter. Are you going to like mix in a cutter?
Not at all.
No, I don't need to even go down that route again. Like, don't need it. Don't need that muscle memory being reinforced.
Nope.
So you mentioned the curveball and the changeup. Where are those two pitches at for you in terms of, are they kind of in a similar place? Is there one that you're kind of feeling a little bit more confident with going into this season?
To be honest with you, I'm feeling a lot more confident with both of them. My curveball has transformed into a different pitch. My changeup has become probably right up there with my slider with the swing and miss pitch. So, I mean, at least what I'm seeing, I haven't thrown live ABs or anything, so I can't tell you for sure. But from a pitcher's perspective, they're moving the way I want them to.
So after you preach control the controllables, I'm gonna now do a horrible segue into potentially, and then I know that you're just gonna focus on yourself and pitching in different environments, but eventually the goal is to pitch at Coors Field. Yeah. And it's only gonna be half your starts, but that is half your starts.
Yeah. For sure.
Being that you're gonna have a 4-pitch mix, it gives you the ability to adjust, but have you put much thought into your arsenal when you're developing it into how it can ultimately play up there, or is that kind of across the bridge when you get there kind of thing?
You know, everybody talks about the altitude and stuff like that, right? And how much the ball jumps off the bat and how much like you lose spin or you lose, vertical and horizontal movement, right? At the end of the day, like if you're making pitches, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you're making pitches the way you need to and you're executing the way you need to, none of that's going to matter. And, I feel like the one thing that the Rockies are trying to breed over there is just mentally strong pitchers because obviously you can't run away from it. Yeah, the balls are going to jump off the bat a little more up there. So you have to be prepared for that. But, if you're used to that, I played at Tennessee. It was a freaking boombox of a stadium. So, I'm
with metal bats.
Yeah, with metal bats, with arguably juice balls.
Yeah.
Anyways, we don't have to go there. But it was I kind of already had that experience, and I'm excited to take it to Denver.
I'm excited to see that. And the last question is on the collector side.
Yeah.
If you could collect the card, and I know you haven't been in the Rockies org that long, but
Yeah.
you've been around. And
Yeah.
is there someone in the Rockies org, if you could collect one of their cards, one of their Onyx cards, let's say, who would it be and why?
Todd Helton, for sure.
Oh, so you're going former Rocky. I love it.
Yeah, former Rocky. He played at Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you
also
got to
backed up Peyton Manning.
Exactly. Come on. I mean, he actually beat out Peyton Manning.
Yes.
He actually beat out
Had
Peyton
the
Manning. And then he switched over to baseball, and that's when Peyton Manning took over.
Yeah.
But, no, Todd Helton, number one, he's a great human being. I've had the opportunity to talk with him a few times. He's around the complex all the time. He's actually one of our coaches now. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's a great human being. And obviously being a former Vol, it's kind of hard not to say Todd Helton in that situation.
I love that. And then the last question I've been asking everybody is, and usually I've been getting the same answer, but got to ask you too. What would be a successful 2024 for Chase Dollander?
For me I'm not even going to go anywhere where I feel like a lot of people think I'm going to go. It's just take it day by day. If I take myself day by day and I control the controllables like we've been talking about, everything else will take care of itself. I'm not going to say I want to debut. I'm not going to say I want to get here. I'm not going to say I want to get there. I want to control myself day by day, control my attitude, control the controllables, control how I execute pitches. Everything else takes care of itself.
Well, I'm excited to see it all take care of itself this year, man. Best of luck and thanks so much for the time.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.